In 1975, lightning struck Lee Trevino on a golf course. The bolt passed through his body. His heart stopped. Doctors told him his career was over. But here's the thing about Lee Trevino. He'd already survived poverty, discrimination, 2 bankruptcies, a childhood most people couldn't imagine. Lightning? That was just another obstacle. 9 years later, at 44 years old, he won his 6th major championship. This is the story of the man who taught himself golf in a cotton field and became one of the greatest players to ever live. Lee Trevino was born in 1939, not in a hospital, in a tiny shack outside Dallas, Texas. No running water, no electricity, and no father. His mother and grandfather raised him. They were poor, and that's putting it kindly. By the time Lee was 8 years old, he was working in the cotton fields. Not for pocket money, for survival. He dropped out of school after 8th grade. College was never an option. Neither was a country club membership. But there was a golf course near his home, and Lee figured out he could make money as a caddy. So that's what he did. Here's where the story gets interesting. Lee never had a single golf lesson. Not one. He learned by watching, by experimenting, by hitting balls until his hands bled. His swing? Completely unorthodox. Coaches would have torn it apart. But it worked. Lee could shape the ball like no one else. Fade it, draw it, keep it low in the wind. He had total control, and he built it all himself. By his early 20s, he was hustling golfers for money on public courses. Not exactly the traditional path to the PGA Tour. But Lee had bigger dreams. In 1968, he entered the US Open at Oak Hill, a Mexican-American kid from the cotton fields, playing against country club golfers who'd trained their whole lives. Nobody gave him a chance. But Lee didn't just compete, he won. He beat Jack Nicklaus by 4 shots. And in that moment, everything changed. Lee Trevino wasn't just a golfer anymore. He was a symbol, proof that talent and grit could overcome anything. Then came 1971, and Lee did something no golfer has ever done before or since. In the span of 4 weeks, he won the US Open, the British Open, and the Canadian Open. 3 national championships, 1 month. Think about that. He beat Nicklaus again at the US Open, chipping in on the 71st hole to steal the tournament. At the British Open, he outplayed everyone in brutal conditions. And at the Canadian Open, he finished strong again. Nobody has matched that stretch. Not Tiger, not Jack, nobody. But here's what the highlight reels don't show. Lee's life off the course was chaos. He went through 2 bankruptcies, lost nearly everything he'd earned. His first 2 marriages fell apart. And as a Mexican-American in a sport dominated by white country club culture, he faced constant discrimination. Some tournaments made him feel unwelcome. Some players wouldn't acknowledge him. Lee famously boycotted the Masters for years, uncomfortable with the culture at Augusta National. But he never hid who he was. He spoke Spanish on the course. He joked with galleries. He refused to apologize for his background. Then came June 27, 1975. Lee was at the Western Open in Chicago, standing near a lake, holding a golf club. Lightning struck. The bolt hit him in the back, traveled through his body, and stopped his heart. He survived, barely. But the damage was severe. Doctors said his career was likely over. Most players would have walked away. Lee came back. It took years of surgeries, rehabilitation, pain. But in 1984, Lee Trevino won the PGA Championship at 44 years old. 9 years after lightning nearly killed him. Let that sink in. 6 major championships total, 2 US Opens, 2 British Opens, 2 PGA Championships, all won by a self-taught golfer who never took a lesson. Lee Trevino's legacy goes beyond trophies. He broke barriers for Latino golfers. He showed that you didn't need a country club upbringing to compete at the highest level. His rivalry with Jack Nicklaus pushed both men to greatness and gave golf some of its most memorable moments. And his personality? Unforgettable. Lee brought joy to the game. He cracked jokes mid-round. He connected with everyday fans in a way few golfers ever have. He wasn't the most technically perfect player, but his heart and grit made him one of the most respected. Lee Trevino's journey is proof of something powerful. You don't need privilege to achieve greatness. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need talent, work ethic, and the refusal to quit, no matter what life throws at you. From a shack in Dallas to 6 major championships, from the cotton fields to the winner's circle, lightning couldn't stop him. Nothing could.